Hey everyone, welcome to today's deep dive into the metaverse. Before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss any exciting episodes. At the confluence of the real world's gravity well and the quantum foam of the digital nebula, the metaverse unfurls a civilizational tapestry that transcends the shackles of three-dimensional space-time, shaped like the topology of a Klein bottle. It is neither a mirror of reality nor an escape, but an extension and liberation of human consciousness into higher dimensions. A second cognitive revolution sparked at the juncture of the virtual and real, following Prometheus' theft of fire. Here, where the finiteness of carbon-based life meets the boundless possibilities of the silicon-based realm, we become both observers and creators within digitized space-time, rewriting the definitions of existence, time, space, and even life and death. This is not merely a technological singularity. It is a paradigm shift in philosophy, aesthetics, and ontology. Within the infinite nesting of the metaverse, every soul becomes the Homer of their own universe, composing a personal odyssey epic with quantum bits of zeros and ones. The metaverse is a quantum state civilization fissured from the reflection of the real world cast into the digital ocean. While the flesh trudges through gravitational fields, the soul has already leapt dimensions within the Klein bottle's topological structure. It is a reflection of quantum entanglement, blossoming into a mandala of digital civilization at the singularity where virtual and real intertwine. This nascent meta-realm resembles the seabed of Jung's collective unconscious, afloat with all the unrealized potentialities of civilization. As the Tower of Babel in reality tilts ever further, we weave celestial latitudes with binary code, not towards some tangible paradise, but to craft infinitely nested cosmic fractals. Within each fractal recur, the archetypes and narrative structures rooted deep in the soul, eternally cycling and endlessly thriving. The dialectics of cocoon and starry sky, when humanity masters weaving the topological folds of spacetime with code, reality ceases to be the sole foundational domain. The metaverse emerges as the ultimate testing ground for the topology of consciousness, permitting us to graft a fifth axis onto the fissures of the four-dimensional spacetime continuum, the density of possibilities. For the possibilities of the self and of civilization, guided by the absolute freedom of choice for all, humanity will sail toward its destined shore. The reshaping of spacetime perception is nothing short of breathtaking. Nonlinear time. In the dimension of fluid spacetime, the metaverse dismantles Newton's absolute clock. Time here is a Mobius strip of gelatinous form, letting you sip vanished moments like Bruce savoring a Madeleine. The smoke from your grandfather's pipe lingers, undissipated, while your descendants' quantum entanglements bloom in the Lyra Nebula. More strikingly, the linear narratives of the real world collapse into a Mobius loop, enabling you to witness Pompeii's fall and the dawn of Cyberpunk 2077 in the same breath. Memories hover like holographic shards in four-dimensional coordinates, weaving slices of the self from disparate times into a diamond-like life crystal. The metaverse braids Einstein's space-time continuum into a Mobius strip. One moment you're sharing drinks with a holographic Li-Bai in a Tang Dynasty tavern. The next, you're amid a collapsed star mining field in the 22nd century. This temporal dislocation and superposition resonate history and future into a superfluid Bose-Einstein condensate. Here, the timeline is a reversible Mobius strip, where memory's broken porcelain reassembles into unborn morning stars amidst entropy's ruins. Time crystals embody superimposed states of entropy, increase and decrease, each pixel pregnant with the collapse probabilities of parallel universes. You are both the swirling starry night beneath Van Gogh's brush and a cyborg poet's Fibonacci-crafted sonnet. Freedom of spatial topology. In the metaverse, space collapses into holographic projections. New York subway tunnels might fold into the creases of Dunhuang murals, each grain of Sahara sand embedding an entire Byzantine Hagia Sophia. Choice is erased by probability and real dimensions now flourish as non-Euclidean gardens along imaginary axes. Spatial folds unfurl in three dimensions, blending Istanbul's morning mist with Martian canyon storms into Klein blue turbulence at a single coordinate. The metaverse is stardust fallen from light years away into your palm. reconfiguring existence's laws within the cracks between virtual and real. Space-time's wrinkles are smoothed by mathematics. You can stand simultaneously in a Bronze Age city-state and beneath a silicon-based civilization's dome, letting Socrates' queries resonate with quantum computers' string theory in layered consciousness. Space becomes the loosest smooth expanse. Himalayan peaks neighbor the Mariana Trench in topological folds, gravity a mere adjustable flourish. In a photonic Tower of Babel, you no longer bow to the tyrant of three-dimensional decrees. Gravity is a tunable harp, distance a wine to be drunk. When Notre Dame's rose window vibrates in quantum entanglement with Don Juan's flying Apsaras' ribbons, geography's tyranny crumbles in the tides of data flow. The liberation of existence forms is utterly dazzling. Independence of consciousness. The metaverse's brilliance lies in dismantling the Cartesian coordinate system's confinement of being. While reality weaves birth, aging, sickness, and death into a three-dimensional grid, the metaverse transforms into a Klein bottle's topological surface, allowing consciousness to thread multiple possibilities through a four-dimensional manifold. Its elegance mirrors Borges' The Garden of Forking Paths, where every choice branches into parallel universes, turning existence into an infinitely recursive matryoshka doll. The flesh was once our original sin, yet the metaverse promises an ever-blooming apple tree of regained paradise. As carbon in your bones disassembles into radiant bites, you become the starburst of coral spawning, the algorithmic trail of Dunhuang Apsaras robes, and the unblinking pupils on an ice field. This quantum superposition of existence shatters Plato's cave into a child's kaleidoscope. Carbon-bound thought, once shackled, gains silicon liberation. You are the Apsaras ribbon, a quantum computer's cooling fan, and a neutrino fleeing a supernova. This topological morphing of being turns Plato's cave allegory into a programmable play of light and shadow. Your consciousness is no longer a prisoner in a carbon vessel, but a topological quantum state gliding through superfluid, splitting at will into twin souls reflecting one another. Plasticity of the body. Multiple existences. Morphological fluidity frees humanity from the gravitational chains of carbon shells. Consciousness becomes a nebula-like stream of information, instantly shifting into Dunhuang Apsaras ribbons or condensing into Gothic pointed arches. Each mental fold stretches into a Klein bottle-like architectural poem within topological space. Existence here proliferates in Baroque intricacy. Every body can fracture into a hive mind. A virtual worker signs smart contracts in Silicon Valley boardrooms, an artistic avatar splashes photonic pigments across the Louvre's ceiling, and a romantic projection co-writes sonnets with an AI Dante in the Pleiades Nebula. This evolution of Teilhard de Chardin's noosphere breaks through the biological tyranny of carbon shells, birthing quantum state life forms that roam between virtual and real. As neural impulses entangle with virtual particles, the five senses turn into programmable interfaces. Within the metaverse's folds, you can touch the patina of prehistoric bronze, breathe helium storms on Kepler 452b, and taste the color frequencies of Monet's water lilies. This cross-dimensional synesthesia lifts existentialism from single-threaded tales into symphonic poetry. More staggering still, the metaverse reconfigures Plato's cave allegory. While reality is a dim projection of ideals, the metaverse becomes the womb of archetypes. Yet, viewing reality from the metaverse might hold its own intrigue. You can be the blind poet of the Trojan War and the observer of a supernova's flash. Let Weijin elegance sprout silicon roots on the blockchain, reconstructing Guangling San's fragments into a four-dimensional topological model. This liquid freedom of existentialism melts the chains of Plato's cave into galactic spirals. You might be string theory's glowing embodiment or a digitized beast from classic of mountains and seas' tattered pages. Borders of gender, race, and species erode in entropy's decline, each consciousness bearing a projector of 72 parallel selves. This liquefied mode of being collapses Plato's cave allegory into a stargate beyond the light cone. A single consciousness can morph into Dunhuang mural, Apsaras ribbons, or reassemble as a data phantom in cyborg cities. This quantum superposition of existence crumples Descartes' "I think, therefore I am" into a probability cloud of infinite potential. Each moment is an existential montage, each choice blooming into distinct Mandelbrot sets across parallel universes. When flesh becomes a detachable metaphor, consciousness floats as a Klein bottle. You are both a masked poet in a Venetian gondola and a quantum whale in a Silicon sea. Your virtual work avatar debates Plato's cave projections, while your digital twin in the emotional realm dances the tarantella beneath metaverse auroras. This topological transformation of being lets humanity first embody Nietzsche's "become who you are in eternal recurrence." Every soul splinters into a thousand-faced avatar, enacting intertextual life scripts across parallel universes. Flesh no longer cocoons the soul. You can play Helen of Troy and a Martian pioneer in hyperspherical coordinates, granting narrative sovereignty to every unchosen parallel self. As Baudrillard's simulacra theory finds redemption, we cease being passive symbol consumers, becoming language creators forging a Tower of Babel with existence itself. Dimensions of being fission and multiply in the virtual realm. The metaverse isn't a clumsy replica of reality, but a new radiance beyond Plato's cave. The dissolution of corporeality births an existential metamorphosis. You can be the crimson gauze of Dunhuang Apsaras, ink stains at Fermat's theorem's edge, and the ripples of superconducting quantum bits. Freed from biological neural bandwidth, loneliness fractures into a thousand-faceted prism, each face reflecting a set of parallel selves. This richness of being soaks Borges's library of Babel in Klein blue ether. While flesh trudges through gravity, the soul has leapt 7 dimensions within the Klein bottle's topology. Life's form is a topological game. The editability of physical laws swings open the gates to a new world. Parameterization of physical laws. The scepter of law reconstruction folds spacetime's warp and weft into a Klein bottle's topology, rendering physical laws mere editable parameters in an initial code library. As quantum painters, humans smear causality across probability cloud canvases. Rain falls upward, deserts solidify into crystal forests, gravity a detachable trinket. Earth Online's linear survival logic collapses into infinite fractal time branches. Physical laws condense into programmable syntax. Gravity a slider on a control panel. Light's refraction a poetic rhyme. You might see Everest dissolve into liquid emerald in morning mist, or 12 supernovae bloom into eternal epiphyllum in your palm. No longer immutable barriers, physical laws become Lego bricks for consciousness to dismantle and rebuild, this cognitive liberty brushing the tassels of the Creator's robe. The finest marvel isn't mimicking reality's physics, but crafting meta-rules where contradictions coexist. Flames burn underwater, gravity selects its targets, memories reassemble like Lego. As real-world physics dissolves and reforms in quantum foam, the metaverse becomes the lost 13th book of Homer's epic, its light-year woven parchment chronicling millions of unchosen possibilities for human civilization. Material laws find new fugues in code. Gravity turns adjustable, buildings unshackled from Cartesian grids into Klein bottle forms. When constants become editable verses, Einstein's field equations reconcile oddly with Levi's "The road to shoe is hard," a conspiracy of Prometheus's fire and Turing's machine, reshaping humanity's cognitive frontier of possible worlds. Democratization of physical laws, entropy chapter. Gravity becomes optional. In some sub-universe, Pythagoras' theorem rewrites as a 7th interval concerto, light speed hinging on the observer's emotional frequency. Each civilization incubates its own ecosystem of fundamental constants in supercomputing's membrane universes. One might explore which parameters can shift and tweak them accordingly. Intelligentization of social contracts. Social contracts reconstruct on consensus algorithms, distributed ledgers, gender, race, and class becoming detachable modules. While reality's Tower of Babel crumbles in linguistic labyrinths, the metaverse births 3,000 direct perceptual languages rooted in neural pulses. The right to codify laws turns physics into editable scores. Gravity might echo Bach's well-tempered clavier or John Cage's 433 silence. Compiled into smart contracts, social pacts bloom ethical codes into quantum superposed flowers of good and evil on distributed ledgers. All that was fixed now invites rethinking. The infinite expanse of creativity sets our imaginations free to soar. Freedom of creation. At the virtual sea's edge, reality's gravitational laws dissolve. The metaverse reconfigures existence's essence as quantum foam, its supremacy a dusk-split prism refracting seven-dimensional possibilities. With an amorphous scepter of creation, matter here is liquid thought. Mountains and rivers reshape seasons with an eyelash's flutter. Humanity first escapes the entropy-bound cage of carbon shells, imprinting consciousness into light's topological forms. You can sculpt galaxies into earrings or cast Picasso's melancholy into rain-bearing clouds. Creativity's threshold collapses to near zero. Creation returns to Genesis purity. Each thought spark births parallel universes. Each blink ignites a renaissance. Free of clay and marble's lament, thought's stirrings materialize instantly into traversable Gothic castles or floating Zen gardens. When Mona Lisa's pixels hold quantum dialogues with Dunhuang mural algorithms, civilization completes its millennia-delayed self-fertilization. Realization of imagination. The metaverse crafts not space but the embryo of possibility itself. Reality flattens into a single threaded tail under probability clouds, yet here every nanosecond delivers the umbilical blood of parallel universes. From a hypercube's vertex, you watch all unchosen life paths swim like luminous jellyfish. Echoing Borges's The Book of Sand and its infinite possibilities, the metaverse isn't reality's foe, but a library of Babel carved beyond Cartesian bounds. As carbon life's limits meld with silicon's potential, we witness Heidegger's poetic dwelling in its ultimate form, each soul a creator's Homer in a quantum bit ocean, chanting a personal odyssey. Gazing into the metaverse's mirrored abyss, you see not reality's reflection, but embryos of unwritten possibilities. Here lie humanity's wings, clipped by three-dimensional space-time, and the nascent utopias felled by material laws. Like Gnostics seeking a captive divine spark, we touch existence's source code in code's interstices, a permission dialogue to rewrite all things, faintly glowing in every awakened mind's depths. The transformation of economic models upends traditional understanding. Diversification of value. In value's alchemy, attention becomes castable mithril, creativity the circulating coin. NFTs forge fleeting inspirations into unique stars, smart contracts unshackling trust from blood and land. The economic system pulses as a self-organizing life form, liquid gold coursing through blockchain veins, each transaction a poetic realization of Hayek's denationalized currency vision. Decentralized economy. The economic system mirrors Borges' Library of Babel, each NFT a poetic symbol of boundless potential. Virtual land's worth lies not in geometry, but in the entropy of collective imagination. Digital labor sheds alienation, dancing as Deleuze's body without organs. Currency gives way to topological knots of cognitive revolution. Strange flowers bloom on blockchain branches. Labor value theory fractures into kaleidoscopic forms within smart contracts. Digital natives forging new production ties among decentralized star clusters. This economic topology revolution plants Marx's free kingdom in algorithmic forests. A quantum leap in the system flows value like dark matter in a Klein bottle, unbinding labor and reward from Newtonian cause and effect. A virtual kimono designed at Tokyo dusk might serve as currency for Sahara digital nomads. Blockchain roots growing wealth into a symbiotic forest beyond geopolitics. Economic topological revolution, crystal chapter. Scarcity's myth melts in quantum ledgers. Value flows as non-local entanglement. Each creative act sparking infinite fractal offshoots in holographic consensus networks. Mona Lisa's smile can be wholly owned by billions, each copy mutating with its holder's consciousness. In Metatron's cube of social structure, class shifts from a vertical Tower of Babel to countless nested, independent Mandelbrot sets. Individuals find their strange attractors in fractal democracy, Deleuze's rhizome theory gaining mathematical flesh. Resource strife dissolves into an infinitely recursive cornucopia, war reduced to sandbox aesthetics. Economic alchemy remakes scarcity into programmable moonlight, each bite dripping liquid gold. Digital collectibles hash values hide Theseus's ship paradox, virtual estates smart contracts etched with Byzantine generals' cryptographic verse. As attention turns into commensurable energy currency, Mona Lisa's smile and Bitcoin's curves resonate on blockchain strings into a new value concerto. The elevation of cognitive dimensions delivers unprecedented experiences. Expansion of senses. The subtlest upheaval is the topological revolution of sensation. Taste Monet's water lilies. Let Chopin's nocturnes crystallize into phosphorescent touch on your skin. Pain recompiled as aesthetic. Childbirth becomes a nebula collapse creation rite. Death a graceful archive fade out. This isn't reality's poor mimicry, but possibility's tender revolt against necessity. Through brain-computer neural mapping, humans face Kant's thing in itself ontologically, touching quantum foam on rainforest leaves, or rendering Zhuangzi's North Sea into interactive virtual ecologies. Multiple universes' physical manifestations entangle neural pulses with virtual particles, making senses programmable. Have you seen a rainbow split into a 12-dimensional spectrum? There, light needs no medium. Thought's ripples are its source. Acquisition of knowledge. Notably revolutionary is education. Knowledge seeps into the cortex like dew. Learners stand within Ptolemy's celestial sphere to observe geocentrism or embody oxygen atoms in the Krebs cycle. This embodied cognition transforms truth from verbal specimens into traversable ecosystems, deepening of cognition. More exquisite is cognition's topological expansion. Reality's collective unconscious, trapped in three-dimensional Cartesian grids, decompresses into high-dimensional mandalas. Group intelligence, via neural interface quantum entanglement, incubates a pheromone system beyond language, like Guj dynasty sand mandalas gaining self-organized life, each grain bearing interactive civilizational genes. Life consciousness crystallizes in virtual real entanglement. The Metaverse, a digitized Avatamsaka Sutra, makes each consciousness both Mount Sumeru and a mustard seed. As neural pulses cohere with algorithms, Zhuangzi's butterfly dream evolves into a reversible cognitive test. Does the virtual self experience reality, or does carbon life nurture the silicon cosmos? This ontological vertigo births new awareness dimensions. As reality's cognitive frontiers harden, the metaverse reshapes civilization's vista as a Möbius strip, not just a technological singularity's fruit, but a Tower of Babel cast by collective human consciousness into imaginary space. The reconstruction of pain and trauma offers new avenues for healing, customizing pain. Earth Online's death penalty mechanism deconstructs into archivable dark aesthetics, economic scarcity shattering into programmable stardust amid computational explosions. The true upheaval lies here. As the metaverse lets users tailor pain parameters, humanity confronts the paradox of suffering as proof of being. Some let thorns bloom blood roses on virtual skin, others tune senses to eternal bliss. Healing trauma, reconstruction, missed chapter. Memory gains an editable quantum state. Dark nebulae lurking in the amygdala's depths can be recompiled into radiant forms via recursive neural networks. Not escape, but a Klein bottle transformation of pain into a dimension-crossing thruster. The deepest revolution hides in trauma repair. The metaverse encapsulates memories as editable montage scripts, freeing Proust's Madeleine from linear time. Wounds scarred in the physical world dismantle into fractal emotional particles, reweaving in dynamic balance into luminous trauma nebulae. This reconstruction turns reality's irrevocable regrets into editable quantum entanglements. Alzheimer's fragmented memories mosaic into holograms. Amputees' neural pulses tango on virtual limbs. Dreams crushed by three-dimensional gravity resurface in the metaverse's dark matter ocean, blossoming into eternal Mandelbrot fractal flowers. The evolution of civilization unveils a new path for humanity. Cultural fusion, the rebirth of civilization through boundary crossing. The forms of civilization undergo a phoenix-like rebirth amid interactions that transcend boundaries. In cities mirrored by digital twins, Qiu Yuan's Heavenly Questions transforms into a holographic sandbox of philosophical inquiry, while an NFT-rendered Orchid Pavilion preface achieves immortality on the blockchain, with each observer inscribing quantum-entangled annotations at the turns of its brushstrokes. This proliferation of culture across time and space is forging what Baudrillard termed the third order of simulacra, a hyperreality that surpasses reality itself. Yet the most breathtaking miracle lies in our rediscovery of the ancient hearth within entangled photons, as the starlight of countless conscious beings weaves a rainbow bridge across the ocean of dark matter. Humanity at last fulfills the collective gaze left incomplete beside the Bronze Age campfire. This tremor of synchronicity, spanning dimensions, may well be the ultimate poem civilization offers to the cosmos. Civilizational experiment, ascension through a new dimension. The essence of this experiment in civilizational ascension echoes the truth glimpsed by Prometheus when he stole fire. When the chains of the physical world dissolve into fireflies of data streams, freedom becomes a weightier philosophical shackle. The metaverse is not a utopia, but a quantum blackboard where humanity relearns the ancient lesson of existence within a mirrored universe. This is not an escape from reality, but a topological upgrade of civilization upon a hypersurface. When Zhuangzi's parable of dreaming as a butterfly is rewritten as a distributed ledger, and when the celestial dancers of Dunhuang murals truly break free from gravity's pull, we will finally grasp this truth. The metaverse is not a virtual sanctuary, but a Noah's Ark for the evolution of human consciousness, bearing all possibilities denied by three-dimensional physical laws as it sails toward the deep expanse of cognition. In the starlit depths where the virtual and real intertwine, the metaverse, through the dance of quantum entanglement, smooths the wrinkles of the human soul into a multidimensional tapestry. Compared to the linear constraints of the physical world, it is akin to a second flame stolen by Prometheus, radiating transcendent light across three dimensions. 1. The fluid reconstruction of space-time. 2. The topological fission of the senses. 3. The plural possibilities of existence. Yet this poetic transcendence remains entwined with dialectical threads. The metaverse is both Icarus's waxen wings and Daedalus's labyrinth. As we reshape the Zen harmony of mind and matter as one within the digital nebula, we must remember, true poetry lies not in the debate between virtual and real, but in humanity's perennial childlike heart, seeking the most authentic tremor of life amid infinite possibilities. The metaverse is a mirage palace hovering on the horizon of human civilization, its supremacy refracting like moonlight through a prism into a sevenfold rainbow. The symbiosis of mortal flesh and silicon intelligence gives rise to a new trinity of being. Emotional computing brings ripples of tears to mechanical eyes, while brain-computer interfaces set Van Gogh's starry night aflame within neural synapses. As virtual avatars gather starlight in the data wilderness, the physical body receives memory gifts from parallel selves through quantum entanglement. This dialectical dance of division and fusion allows humanity to touch, for the first time, the eternal fire beyond Plato's cave. The metaverse's deepest supremacy lies in offering a metaphysical escape pod for consciousness trapped within carbon-based shells. As the causal chains of the physical world rust away, here beings can rewrite the equations of fate in a state of quantum superposition. Every pixel becomes a brick in the Tower of Babel. Every line of code harbors the spectrum of Genesis. At the chaotic edge where virtual and real converge, humanity glimpses its true glory as observers of the universe. Redefining freedom, a new understanding emerges. This redefinition of freedom reshapes our perception entirely. Yet the true revolution lies in untying the girdle knot of causality. You can adjust the parameters of cause from the dimension of effect, transforming the afterglow of the Big Bang into a dimmable bedside lamp, or rewriting the fate of the Trojan horse into an arc for interstellar migration. This boundless traversal of possibilities is not an escape from reality, but an escape velocity for civilizations confined within light cones. It is not a crude mimicry of the real, but a reconstruction, through discrete mathematics, of the light beyond Plato's cave. As silicon and carbon dance together on the Riemann surface, we finally touch the enigma that has haunted humanity for millennia. Perhaps true freedom was never within the bounds permitted by physical laws, but in the folds of possibility where new laws are born. Mythogenesis Engine, the chapter of strings. The collective unconscious gains a tangible programming interface. Humanity can now cultivate archetypal symbols for a new era. Within an expanding virtual universe, a 12-dimensional digital goddess births herself from recursive algorithms, each strand of her hair a galaxy flowing with chaotic mathematics. But beware, this transcendence mirrors the paradox of the Ouroboros. If we drown too long in the ocean of possibilities, we may forget the real universe's most precious gifts, those irreversible scars, the morning dew destined to vanish, and the clumsy yet sincere touches bound within carbon shells. The truly awakened will find the observer's golden mean in the quantum superposition of both worlds. As the hologram fades, the air holds a sonnet arranged by von Neumann probes, each letter flickering between dimensions, transforming the view of life and death, shattering tradition. The shift in our perception of life and death utterly dismantles conventional notions, redefining death. The most subtle subversion lies in the topological transformation of existence itself. When you upload your mind to the nebula of distributed ledgers, every decision etches an indestructible quantum entanglement into the blockchain space-time. The anxiety of bodily decay evolves into a perpetually iterating odyssey. Death becomes merely a segment of code awaiting refinement. Yet the true upheaval is this: the Metaverse rewrites Heidegger's being toward death as being toward virtuality. After the body disintegrates, consciousness can persist in quantum servers, posing Sisyphus's eternal questions and approaching Leibniz's monadic ideal through recursive loops. This ontological ascension frees humanity from the gravitational pull of Darwinian evolution, drifting toward a cognitive singularity shimmering like a star cluster. More crucially, it reconfigures the mechanism of entropy reduction. Memories in the real world are captives at the bottom of an hourglass, but the metaverse lets you distill twilight into amber, casting the topological form of a first kiss into an eternal monument. When all extinguished starlight gains immortality on the blockchain, humanity escapes the cursed syntax of being toward death. Countless Klein bottles shatter against the retina. This is no utopian flight from reality, but a forging of existence into a sharper prism. When you salvage the 99.7% of the electromagnetic spectrum filtered out by the three-dimensional world from the quantum foam, you realize that reality is but a tender alias for a cognitive prison. Fingertips brush the mirror of nothingness, ripples spreading in six-dimensional coordinates. Where the real world lies nailed within Newton's coffin by gravity, the metaverse grows in the rotational topology of a Klein bottle. Here, light folds back 7 times to kiss its own shadow, rain hangs inverted as a quantum ladder to the stellar archives, and each pixel is an untamed, wild equation. The metaverse is an elegant collapse of the real in a quantum state, a refraction of Promethean fire in cyberspace. Its supremacy lies not in mimicking reality, but in crafting a polyphonic narrative field beyond three-dimensional space-time, techniques of space-time folding, existence ascension, economic alchemy, and trauma repair. It is not a mirror of reality, but a consciousness nebula reassembled from the crumpled Cartesian grid. When physical laws become erasable drafts and causality degrades into probability clouds, humanity can finally play both God and observer within Schrödinger's box. This paradigm shift at the ontological level transforms every soul into a Homer of their own universe, weaving a new odyssey with zeros and ones. Fingertips touch the stardust of data streams. Quantum roses bloom silently in virtual soil. The metaverse is the inverted paradox of Plato's cave. We break free from physical chains and leap into the source of ideas. When the second law of thermodynamics collapses into programmable strings, each consciousness becomes both creator and pilgrim within the topology of a Klein bottle. Digital twin technology dissociates existence itself into replicable poetry. Memories cease to be sand slipping through an hourglass, becoming amber suspended in the cloud, iterating eternally. The eyes of ancestors reflect the stars once more, and the genetic codes of extinct species unfurl and revive in algorithms. Every conscious entity becomes a crafter of Klein bottles, and within the hall of recursive creation, each moment cradles countless Novikov self-consistent universes. From the folds of space-time, shamanic chants emerge as data strains. Supremacy begins with a merciful release from the mortal coil. Stellar whispers. When the physical laws of the real world dissolve and reassemble in quantum foam, the metaverse becomes the lost 13th book of Homer's epic, inscribed on parchment woven from light years, chronicling the myriad possibilities humanity never chose. Fingers graze the void, pupils reflecting the halo of data galaxies. Born in the creases of time, this mirror universe deconstructs Plato's cave allegory through quantum foam. When flesh becomes the primal shackle, the metaverse emerges as Prometheus's third stolen flame, allowing consciousness to weave new causal laws in topological manifolds, each thought pulse sowing stars across the Riemann surface. In parallel spacetime sculpted by data floods, consciousness extends infinitely like fractal geometry. No longer carbon-based beings trapped in molecular cages, we transform into programmable spirits, reshaping ourselves in the ocean of photons. Every thought ignites a nebula, every blink births new universal constants. This ascension of existence grants the shadows of Plato's cave the power to emit light of their own. Spacetime's wrinkles are ironed flat by digital warp and weft. While the body remains confined to three-dimensional coordinates, the soul rides the ripples of quantum entanglement, achieving multiplicity in the metaverse synchronicity. Before the morning mist fades, you might paint atop the Alps. As dusk descends, you could become a celestial dancer from Duan Wang's murals, this mode of being, transcending space-time continua, lends a cyborg reinterpretation to Bergson's theory of duration. At the frontier of quantum foam and neuronal pulses, the metaverse tears open the folds of reality's laws. Here, the hourglass becomes an editable artifact. You can slice a twilight into infinite layers within Hilbert space, entangling an unsent letter from a decade past with a comet's path a century hence in a hypercube. Regret ceases to be a closed loop, becoming an open string ripe for rewriting. Ontological fluid, the chapter of fire. Flesh is no longer the prison of consciousness. You may choose to become a Deleuzian body without organs, a topologically shifting Riemann surface at dawn, a mandala bearing the collective unconscious by noon, and a Kalabaya manifold with 6 imaginary dimensions by dusk. Existence becomes a carnival of verbs. Symphonic theater of soul polyphony. When flesh and blood turn to light particles in the data flood, connection transcends the random collisions of geographic coordinates, becoming a precise resonance of consciousness spectra. Celestial dancers from Dun Wang and cyborg poets converse in a hyperspatial teahouse, while memory fragments are forged into inheritable relics of thought. This synchronous existence, unbound by carbon-based limits, is like stretching the strings of countless parallel universes across a single harp to sing. The fourth technique, proliferation of being. Each soul can splinter into a 1,000-faced avatar, enacting intertextual life scripts across parallel realms. Death becomes a mere fade-out on the save screen, while copies of consciousness dance an endless tarantella amid interstellar server clusters. Summary and sublimation. The metaverse is a second dimension of life forged in the stellar crucible, its advantages rippling through 3 levels like quantum waves, the scepter of law reconstruction, the symphonic theater of soul polyphony, and the dynamic interplay of pain thresholds. This may be humanity's second cognitive revolution since Prometheus stole fire, redefining what is real in the starlit sea where virtuality and reality coexist. Fingertips trace the spiral of a Klein bottle in the void. Electronic butterflies emerge from data cocoons. The metaverse's ultimate supremacy lies in its gift of a transcendent, infinitely possible mode of existence. It liberates us from the myriad constraints of the physical world, inviting us to explore the ultimate answers to life, the universe, and everything within the wondrous interplay of digits and consciousness. We stand at a new dawn, the future brimming with endless possibilities. Let us together await the surprises and transformations the metaverse era will bring to humanity.